W cookie D. W cookie D. Yeah, W cookie D. W cookie D. Ha.
I'm here in the kitchen with a lovely woman that I just met, Lorraine Russo-Hardy. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to have you here in our kitchen.
Thank you. It's fun to be here.
You have a way about you that suggested to me that you might do something professionally with cooking, and in fact, you said you did. But
I do. I'm trying to start, a small business, decorating cookies for, any occasion, really.
Oh, great! So, and you're willing to share some of those tips with us?
Yep, definitely.
Because decorated cookies at any time of the year catch everybody's attention and everybody's eye, and make even the most mundane cookie special, don't you think?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's start. Are we going to make just a basic?
This basically is a vanilla bean rollout cookie. I call it vanilla bean, but basically I've used all different flavors, whatever extracts you have, or emulsions are very popular too. It's like a different type of, it's like a more concentrated extract, but any flavor you have can work. I just happen to use vanilla bean paste in this one, and it's very delicious.
I happen to love vanilla beans, so that's not going to be a problem for me. All right, so what are our ingredients?
Okay, so we have some eggs here. I like to start with the eggs and the sugar first. I'm sorry, excuse me, the butter and the sugar first.
The butter and the sugar.
So we have a cup of butter, which we'll put right in here. And it's important to use softened butter.
Oh, yeah.
And this
Otherwise,
is pretty soft.
The sugar's not going to mix in too well.
And I'm just going to try to get some of the lumps out of here first.
Okay.
And we have a cup and a half of sugar. We're going to get that right in there. Okay.
All right, then
we're going to put the paddle attachment on.
You good with that?
Yeah.
This is a woman who knows her way around the kitchen.
Oh, I know the KitchenAid. This is my favorite appliance.
Oh, it's so handy, isn't it?
Yes, I'm dying to get the larger one.
Is there a larger one?
Yeah, I think there's a 7-quart, so that would make my life a lot better, because I tend to make like more than one batch at a time.
Now, how did you come to the whole cooking? Did you grow up cooking? Did you take classes?
Well, I loved watching my grandmother, both my grandmothers in the kitchen, all my life. And then, at Christmas time, we would make cookies. I started to, watch them making cookies. Then when I was a little older, I started, making cookies for people at holidays. And then when I had my first son, I wanted to do something really, special for his birthday. So I started kind of looking online for ways to decorate cookies, and then that's how I fell into this.
So this really became your specialty.
Yeah.
Decorating cookies.
I really enjoy it.
And don't let me slow you down here, because I want us to keep moving if you're ready to go.
So I think it should be. Well, I'm just going to stop this for a second.
Okay.
And then whoops. And then what I'm going to do, I like to mix the extracts into the eggs and then put them all together.
Just because it blends more fully?
Yeah, I think it just. Yep, definitely. Okay, so
there's not any sort of chemical reason to do it?
Not that I know of.
All right, so
I'm going to do a teaspoon of almond extract. Okay, and then I'm also going to do 2 tablespoons of the vanilla bean paste.
2 tablespoons of vanilla bean paste.
Yes.
Different from vanilla extract?
Yes, it is. It has actually the bean in here.
Oh, I see. It's very...
You'll see it, yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Syrupy, but there's a better word for it.
And you'll see the actual flecks of the vanilla bean in there.
And it's really got a nice scent.
You can smell it too.
Okay, yes.
And then I like to just give it a little
flecks
whisk.
that you see in vanilla bean ice cream. Oh, I love that. I love that.
And you can smell it, I'm sure.
And we always say we wish you at home could smell this too, but you all know what a heavy scent of vanilla is like, so just imagine it if you would. Okay? So we've got the 2 tablespoons of vanilla bean paste, the 1 teaspoon of almond extract, the 2 eggs, and there's just a little bit left to add.
And then I think, I know you had salted butter here, but I usually prefer unsalted butter. So I guess depending on what you prefer, if you use unsalted butter, then you will use extra salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon. But if not, then you would eliminate. If you're using salted butter, you would eliminate the additional salt. And then I like just to mix it.
Why do you prefer the unsalted butter if you're then in fact going to add salt later on?
I mean, I think it's just a preference thing. People always talk about that too, and I've always wondered that as well. I think it's just a preference. Some people like the salted in there. I prefer, like, I guess, just not, you know.
The control factor. You're
Yeah.
controlling how much salt is in there.
Exactly.
Okay, okay.
And now I like to add, this is 4 cups of flour, so I'm going to use just a little at a time because we want to make sure everything gets mixed in.
Now you just use regular flour. You're not sifting this again or cake
No,
flour or anything?
I didn't sift. No,
All right.
I didn't pre-sift.
We like as few steps as possible in my household.
Whoa, whoa. And
that's why we wear
That's what
aprons.
happened.
Now, do you cook as well as bake?
I do, yep.
Because they're two completely different skills.
They are
and
really
you
different.
often will talk to somebody who does one and doesn't get near the other. But you're multi-talented. Now, did you grow up around here? You talked about cooking with your
Actually,
grandmother.
I did not grow up around here. I'm from New York originally, and we just moved here recently for my husband's job.
Ah, now did you experience cookie tables growing up in New York? I'm going to guess not. But
No, I did not, actually.
yeah, we were saying earlier in the show, it's sort of at least as far as we know, a southwestern Pennsylvania sort of a thing. And you didn't experience it in New York. I didn't experience it down in South Carolina. But isn't it fun?
It is. I think it's a great idea. It really is. I mean, it just, everyone wants a special dessert table, you know, for particular occasions, you know, and I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I know by the time they bring the wedding cake out, I'm like, never mind, thank you. I'm overstuffed on the cookies. I don't need the wedding cake.
I think it would be easier if I just try to do it while it's going. And another thing maybe we should know about the dough is if you are, I tend to chill my dough for about like 2 hours or so. So if you're not going to chill your dough right away, you can add more flour. But if you are, then you use less flour, and that's why I have.
All right.
Yep.
Why don't we, for the sake of moving things along,
Sure.
why don't we assume that you've done that long enough and tell us, do we need to refrigerate it first?
Yes, I would wrap it in parchment paper and then in like a Ziploc bag and refrigerate it for about an hour or 2 hours or so.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming you all know how to roll out dough. We're not going to go through that step because we really want to get to what you are
Sure.
good at, the decorating. So what we have here are cookies that have already been
Rolled out and cut and
baked.
and obviously baked.
Yeah, okay. So teach us, let's clean up a little bit here
Sure.
because we really want to benefit from your expertise, and having had a little preview of what you do, I know how good you are.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to start with this. This is a diamond ring cookie, and
Okay.
you know, for the sake of wedding tables, I chose that particular cookie. I like that.
Now you make your own icing, and we
make my
have the
own
icing recipe in the cookbook. We're just not going to make it here, but you do make your own.
Yes, and this is, you know, it comes out white, and I tint it with different, you know, food coloring. It's AmeriColor food coloring that I use, and I like that one the best. It's just the right consistency for coloring the dough. So a lot of times I'll draw with an edible food marker as well. You know, if I have a particular design in mind,
Yeah.
I'll draw with an edible food marker. And this one I tend to use a yellow color so you can't see.
Right.
And I use different tips depending on how thick or thin. This one happens to be number 2 size tip, and it's a PME tip.
PME.
And so I just start by outlining first.
Oh, it's just the fact that you can do a straight line.
It takes a lot of practice.
I mean, I'm so glad you said that, because I try to do it and it is such a mess that I end up giving up. But look at you, you've got such control, and you're saying it takes a lot of practice. So just
It does.
make a bunch of cookies.
And that's what I did for a long time. I think my family, you know, I'm surprised they're not sick of cookies by now.
Now the circle's got to be even harder, but I can see now, I can really appreciate why you draw it out in advance.
Yeah, especially circles. Circles are the hardest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, you know, there's different consistencies. So for the outline, I will make the icing stiffer, but for actually frosting the cookie, as you can see, this is very thin. It's called a flood icing.
Uh-huh.
And then that's how I go and fill it in.
Is it the same icing recipe with some additive that liquefies it?
All
or is it
I do
different?
is, you know, I'll tint the batch gray, and
Yeah.
then I just take a little bit out, and I use water to thin it out.
Just
To the
water?
consistency that I want. Yep, just water. And that's it.
And it will only go, if you put the right amount in, it'll only go to the edge that you've created.
Yeah, well, you outline to create this barrier. That's what you want to have.
Oh my
You want to have this
gosh.
barrier. So
I guess I never thought about how you, I just buy pre-decorated cookies because I've never
Yes,
considered
you know,
how-
there is a lot of steps involved, as you can see.
Yeah, look at that. Okay.
And then we'll do the same with the actual diamond. And I have some white here as well. And depending on, you know, what you like, I've also filled in the center with a white too, and, you know, written people's names or the date of the wedding, let's say. I've done this particular cookie for an engagement party. And then we'll just fill this in with some white as well. I did this step because this is the time-consuming part, is, you know, color, you know, making all the colors yourself. That
Sure.
takes like so much time.
So it's one basic recipe, food coloring, and then you do some with more water to make it more liquidy.
Yes, I'm
and
sorry.
And that's okay.
It's just
Get what
sometimes
you need.
your tips will get a little bit stuck, so
Oh, I
it's-
know that from pottery. When you make pottery, you use things like this.
it's handy to use. I just use a safety pin, something that will help. And there you go. Oops, still a little bit stuck. I apologize for
No,
that.
that's okay. And I think people at home appreciate seeing what can go wrong and how to fix it, because we've all had, you know, the gook get stuck.
There we go.
Much better. Okay.
And as you can see, again, I had the stiffer at the top, and then I also have the flood right here. And then I can go ahead and fill this in.
Oh.
But you know, another thing you might want to do at home, you
Yes.
know, well, it's important to know is, to give some time before each of the different colors.
Give some time. Oh, so that it hardens a bit.
Yeah, so you're going to wait actually before the different colors so they don't like bleed into each other.
I understand. Right. No,
Sorry, I
that does
didn't
make
explain.
sense, but we don't have that kind of time. But look, it's not bleeding, even though we did not wait for it. Look at that diamond ring.
And then I also
Put a ring on it.
I also like to use it's a little disco dust. It's also edible, but it gives it
Is
the
it actually
sparkle.
called disco dust, or are you calling it that?
It is called disco dust. This right here, you can take a look at it. And it gives it a little sparkle.
Where do you buy something like that?
Actually, there's a store I like to shop online called Karen's Cookies, because it's hard to find all the things you want, you know, in a particular time. So,
All right, so now you've got a sparkly engagement ring.
and
All
then
right.
I would leave this, and later on I would do the decorations on the top of the diamond.
What kind of decorations?
Like to make the diamond more defined.
Oh,
Like-
you would put more frosting.
Yeah, I would use this. Actually, you know, we can do that now. I think it would be okay. I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, because I want to see what. Oh, you are. Oh, the actual.
The actual
cut
definition
of
of
the
it.
diamond.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. There you go.
Oh yeah,
So
no, that
that's
makes
a
that
little
does
better.
make a big difference. I see what you
There
say.
you
What
go.
you're saying. All right, great. We've got like about 2 minutes left. Can we do
Okay,
another one?
Sure. This is my favorite one. This is the wedding dress.
Oh.
And it's also my favorite cutter, right here, which is a beautiful copper cutter. And
Very
I also
nice.
love cutters because they can also be, you know, handed down from generation to generation.
Isn't that the truth? And they have such meaning.
So again, I'm just gonna outline the actual shape the best I can. And as you were mentioning before, that actually holds the
Oop, oop.
that holds the
It holds the frosting in when you cover it.
flood icing in.
Wedding gowns by Lorraine. You're going to give some of the top wedding designers a run for their money here.
But that's the best part because, you know, it is a custom. You can customize any cookie to any person. So, and then again, I'm going to go back in.
I've never seen this shape in a cookie cutter, but I also don't, you know, peruse cookie cutter shops and websites. But I guess you can get a cutter in just about any shape you want.
Yes, you can.
For anything.
And actually, you can even get custom cutters too if you have
Really?
something in mind.
Isn't that good to know?
It is. It's wonderful. I actually have someone who wants like an Olympic swimming favor, and I know a place. It's called Copper Gifts, and they'll make you the kind of shape you want.
Look at this. All right, so are you going to fill this whole thing in?
Yes, I will.
Because I want to make sure we don't run out of time.
Okay. Well, I mean, if
Because I can fill in if you want to be starting something
Sure,
else.
sure.
Let me try filling in here.
that would be great. Okay.
Yeah, baby. Here.
Thank
and tell us
you.
what else you're going to make.
I'm going to try to make a ranuncular flower.
What's it called?
A ranuncular. They come in different colors. This one I used. This is like a russet color.
You know what? We're
I'm
not
gonna
going to have
be
time to
using-
finish it. I just looked up and saw that more time has passed than I thought.
Okay.
Lorraine, even as we say goodbye, we're going to continue decorating. Tell me what you would do to this dress when you were finished with it.
When I was finished with it.
Oh, wait a minute. We got to go. The finished ones are over there.
Oh, okay.
I completely forgot this is a whole new system for us. Come on over here. Oh, my goodness. Look what you did to the dress.
That's the dress, and this is what the ranuncular flower would look like, and the diamond ring.
Oh my gosh, are we seeing these? You guys have got to see, they're absolutely gorgeous. Now that takes some skill to do the lace on the dress.
Yeah, that's a whole nother different technique.
Oh my goodness, I can see why you want to do this professionally. You have a real skill here, but that's not to say that folks at home can't do this.
Yeah, definitely.
You've taught us how. Thank you so much. I do appreciate
you
you sharing your time with us. We're going to go back over to Anna, who's going to tell you how you can get the cookbook that has this recipe in it.